Alright, this may seem like the dumbest video anybody's ever done on how to load and unload cabinets into into a truck or into a house. Well, because I work alone, you have to be able to adjust and to make things go into where you need it to go without hurting yourself. So I'm just going to show you how I load cabinets onto carts, for instance. So all these cabinets I brought outside to get loaded into my truck on a cart. But I want to show you something here. So when I want to load a cabinet onto a cart, all I do is go like this. Put it up underneath and flip it down. So I haven't done any lifting other than pinching that cart. So that's how easy it is to do that. It works for multiple things, not just cabinets, but anything that's big. You just slam the cart up to it, have somebody hold on to it, or hold on to it with your hand, and then tip it over onto that cart. Anyways, so I gotta get this thing loaded into the truck. So same thing in reverse. Just let it slide off. Move the cart out of the way. There. Now here's the thing. If you're loading cabinets with doors and drawers, loading it on the side, which sometimes you may have to do, but what happens is you have a tendency, if you turn just slightly, those doors or those drawers are going to come flying out of the cabinet, and you got yourself a repair. So for the most part, if you can, load from the back side. Okay, if you have no restraint on your doors, this is the best way to do it. There we go. And now I can slide it around in the truck with those little feet that are on the bottom of the cabinets. So that's the basic premise of how I do it. Now, if you look at this, I've got two cabinets sitting on top of each other. So how do you get them off cleanly? So what I like to do with this is I put my stomach against the face of it, turn it, and then down. Okay? And always bend with your back so you don't hurt your knees. Okay? Don't do that. That's stupid. So I'm in the truck now, and I put in an upper cabinet. It's actually a fridge cabinet, but it has a finished bottom on it because it's the underside of the cabinet just above the fridge. So I want to protect the doors, and I want to protect the bottom. So I have just leftover blankets and sheets. That's enough to cover everything and to keep it protected, because I'm going to be butting up this cabinet against it. Okay, it's just a drawer pack that doesn't have any finished ends. So I just push that up tight against it. I have foam here, and this came from, I think it was a hood fan, I think. But I kept the foam because it's very handy. It's kind of the same stuff as pool noodles are made out of. And all it does is just protect my edges of my cabinet there. So that's what I do if there's a finished end on something I need to protect. I put a blanket on it. After I get all these loaded up, I'm going to be putting a blanket over the surface of all the doors, and then I'll put something else up against that. But you cannot put something face to face if it's unprotected. So what do you do with a cabinet that's on top of another cabinet, but it's got some extra weight in it? So I don't like trying to pick that off and trying to pull it down, especially if I pull this down this way. These drawers are going to come this way. So the best thing to do is just actually unclip and get the drawers out of the way, and then take the cabinet off, and then just put them back in. It's just it's to save your back. When I was younger, I probably would try to muscle that, but that's how you end up with damaged backs and that kind of thing. So now it's light enough that I can grab the cabinet, turn, and just put it down. So you can see my back is straight here. All I'm doing is just sliding it down my legs and down to the ground, and my back remains straight. My arms just pulling right down. It's the safest way to do that. Same thing again here. This one, you can tip it backwards just slightly. Again, I'm just resting it on my knees for a heavier cabinet, and I haven't done any lifting whatsoever. Push it out of the way, and now I can get the cart in behind it. But there, my back is in fine shape, and the cabinet's still in good shape, and that's what matters. So I got the base cabinets in. Those are 24-inch deep, and I got some vanity sink bases, which are not heavy, and I put them on top, and you can see how it's not overlapping a door there. And then I put a blanket on top, and this way it protects all the way to the bottom. Then I get my tie down strap, and you can see I loop it through. I don't hook it on, I loop it through. And if you're buying these things, make sure you buy the 20-footers, because the other ones are just a waste of time. Same thing here on the buckle. Okay, I got a nice long one. I like these long ones like this. And then I can loop it through and then get it on the hook. And then I can put the tab through and tighten it up. I just find this works to be the best, because if you try to hook it onto here and the truck bounces, you could actually lose it. But if it's this, you can see there's no way that can go anywhere. So if you can find these types of ratchet straps with the longest buckle, that's what you want. All right, so I got a fairly large cabinet here. It's a blind corner. Same thing if you got a pantry and you got to get it into the truck. Well, it's really hard. You can't really get the dolly under it because they're so awkward. So what I do is I drag this on its end as close as I can get to the truck, like that, right there. And then on the cart, I tip it and I put my foot under the cart so it doesn't slip out. Okay, and once it's in, then all I have to do is just slide it into place. And then just slide it into the truck. And it's the same thing, it's got the nice little nylon glides like any of the other ones, and I can push it in. And then I'm going to put it tight up against those blankets that are covering up those other cabinets. So the cabinets are in. As you can see, I put this long blind corner up against the cabinets here. And the blankets are not touching the floor, or just a little bit above. And that way it's still got the protection touching on the bottom. I put these upper cabinets in and had just enough room to put this panel into that opening. So now everything's nice and secure and nothing will move around. And that's the important thing, because if something was to happen to jostle around for whatever reason, something comes loose, and if you can keep it from tipping, that makes all the difference. So now I have some space left over. I can put more blankets on top. I can put panels on top of this and other parts, and I still have probably about a third of the truck still available for more cabinets. So just remember, always put cabinets back to back and face to face. Face to face with blankets in front of them, back to back, no problem. You can go back to back. But faces always have to be protected. So here, if my wife is watching this, this is not the blanket you're looking for.